Hello everyone, I just want to start this video off by reminding you, always do your research before you get any pet. Remember, pets do grow. For the most case, 99% of them do grow. What might be a small little cute thing turns into such a big thing. So remember, always do research before you get any pet to make sure that you can handle this pet and be ready to, be a responsible owner of a pet. With that being said also, I'd just like to remind you guys, these videos are based off my experiences and my opinions. There's a million different ways to do any one thing, so please don't criticize this video. You might be doing something different that's the same, correct results as I do. So please don't criticize my videos. However, don't forget to leave any comments down below with anything, if I left anything out, if you guys think I said anything wrong, questions, concerns, leave any comments down below, hit the like button, I will respond to you guys as soon as possible. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome you to the 4th video, corn snake care, feeding your corn snake. Alright, so now you just picked up your new corn snake, you got a new tank for it, you got all situated. Now you come to the question of, what am I feeding my corn snake? What am I going to feed my corn snake? And it's quite simple. You're going to feed it mice. And now there's a wide variety of different mice out there in the field too. I'll go through some of the sizes. You got a newborn pinky, which is the smallest mouse that you could get. Then it goes up to a pinky. Then after that, a larger pinky. Then a peach fuzzy, as some call it. Then a regular fuzzy, big fuzzy, hopper, and then adult mouse, and then after that a jumbo mouse. Really, jumbo mice, you don't see too many corn snake owners getting them. Those would be for more corn snakes longer than 5 feet. But those are the sizes of the mice that you're gonna have to get. Now, it all depends too on your availability of what you can get too. If you get your mice from a local pet shop, they might not have the newborn pinkies as opposed to larger pinkies, which is only a couple days difference in the life of the mouse. But, the local pet shop might not have that. So, whereas if you get your mice from a different source online at Expo, they normally do have those differential sizes that you can get for them. Now, when it comes to feeding your corn snake too, you also do not want to feed your corn snake any wild animals at all. You might have mice where you live, outside, whatever, rats, small rats. Rats you shouldn't feed to your corn snake. But, you might have wild mice around where you live. You do not want to feed them wild animals. This being in part of that wild animal might have a disease or something that you can transfer over to your snake. It might have mites or ticks that could get on your snake. Also, in fact, it might not have the necessary or correct vitamins that your snake might need in order to survive. So you never, ever, ever want to have to feed, or not even have to, you never should feed your corn snakes any wild animals at all. You always want to feed them captive bred mice. So as I was saying a little bit before, there's many different ways that you can get mice. One is at your local pet shop. You might, have a pet shop right down the street like I do. I literally just drive down the road, walk down the road. I got a local pet shop there that sells mice. You might have to buy it online. If you have internet access, you could buy them online. Or you could go to Expo and get them. The benefit of buying them online and at Expo is that the fact that you could buy them in quantities. You could get 25 pinkies if you know your corn snake's going to be eating pinkies for another, 2 months, 3 months. You could get that set of 25 pinkies. I've seen 50 pinkies in a bunch. I've seen 100 pinkies sold together, or adult mice. Any size, online and at Expos, normally they have all the sizes available, and they also have more quantities. So, like I said, depending on the size of your collection, you might want to go online or to an Expo and buy 100 pinkies for your, 10 baby hatchling corn snakes. Saves gas, I guess, so you don't have to go to a local pet shop every time. But, in all, if you can, go local pet shop, get mice. That's, like I said, that's what I did. He had them readily available for me all the time. So, you know, depending on where you are, what your availability is, you can get mice easily nowadays. And more usually online or at expos, they carry a lot more differential size mice too. Now that we've talked about different size mice, where to get them, availability and all that, I just want to talk to you guys about feeding your corn snakes pre-killed versus live mice. Before I go any further, this is a warning. Whatever you do, do not, if you have pre-killed, do not defrost them inside the microwave. You'll have a big mess. So you never ever want a pre-killed mouse defrosted in the microwave. Also, with the live mice, you do not want to leave any mouse unattended in your corn snake enclosure at all. Alright, it can hurt, harm, injure, whatever you want to call it, and or kill your snake with live mice. So if you're always feeding live too, you always want to be there in person, monitor it the whole time to make sure that mouse doesn't hurt your snake. Basically what I used to do for my collection is I'd normally feed my hatchling corn snakes, I'd feed them live mice up until about they get to the fuzzies. Then I'll switch them over pre-killed. It's easier feeding my collection that way because I had only maybe 2-3 adult corn snakes as opposed to, you know, 40-50 hatchlings. So you know, it was quite easier to feed the live mice, and I was able, since they're such small snakes and the risk of them getting injured when they're younger like that by a pinky is extremely low, I could feed 2-3 of them at a time and watch all 3 of them easily, no problem. Once they get older, like a hopper or adult mouse you're dealing with, like I said, you gotta keep an eye on that to make sure that that mouse does not injure your corn snake at all. It can bite the corn snake, it can scratch the corn snake, cause infections to your corn snake. So you gotta be extremely careful when it comes to feeding your corn snakes live. Pre-killed, quite simple and easy. Take your frozen mice that you get from the expo online or your pet shop, put the mouse in a container with some warm water, wait about 15-20 minutes, make sure that mouse is, you know, at the right temperature, squishy, whatever, and, you know, feed the snake. You know, that's as easy as it goes. It does get quite difficult when I have to defrost, you know, 20 mice at a time, you know, taking them all out, trying to feed them and stuff. But like I said, the benefit of pre-killed mice is that the fact that you don't have to sit there and watch them really eat the pre-killed mice, because you know, no harm to the snake. Now real quick about feeding the snakes and stuff. If you feed them in your enclosure, you know, you gotta be careful about substrate sticking to your corn snake, to the mouse, because it will ingest the substrate, sorry, and it could cause some serious health problems, which I'll describe a little bit further. So, you know, it's up to personal preference. I normally took my corn snakes out of their cages when I fed them. I feed them separately, obviously. You never want to throw, you know, 1 mouse or 2 mice in a tank with 2 snakes in it, or whatever. You know, you should always separate snakes when you're feeding them. Alright, now how am I going to pick the right size mouse to feed my snake? Quite simple. I always was taught rule of thumb. 1.5 times the thickness of the snake, the widest part of the snake. Also, you could just generally tell. First 4 years or 3 years I had snakes, I was getting all the mice from a local pet shop. Basically, he only had pinkies, fuzzies, hoppers, adult mice. Nothing in between, none of those other sizes. So what I do is, you know, I get pinkies, feed my corn snake pinkies, you know, for quite a while. Once I stopped seeing a lump in the corn snake and stuff, I'd go up to the next size higher. And or I judge by 1.5 times the thickness of the snake, you know, just take a guesstimate. You do not want to try and feed a, you know, a hatchling corn snake, an adult mouse. You know, it will refuse to take it, won't even go after it, first off. And if you feed such a larger item to a smaller snake, like let's say you have a corn snake like 40 grams and you feed an adult mouse or whatever, you know, or even a little bit bigger corn snake, it's going to regurgitate the mouse. So you got to make sure you feed it. Another way of feeding your corn snake is the Munson plan. The Munson plan basically is a chart, which I'll have on the computer and I'll show you guys. Is basically, you know, just a weekly plan of feeding your animals. You need a digital scale for this way of feeding them. All right, you do need to weigh the corn snake the day before you feed it. You need to weigh the mouse to make sure it has, you know, has the right grams. So you do need a digital scale, and I would recommend putting up a very detailed feeding chart for this. This way you guys could keep track of your feedings for your corn snakes. So that's probably what a lot of people use nowadays, is the Munson plan. So I'll show you guys the chart right now, and I will also, you know, read it off to you guys. All right, so basically for the Munson plan, when you have your hatchling corn snake, you want it to be between 4 and 15 grams. All right, your snake's between 4 and 15 grams. You want to feed them every 4 to 5 days, one single pinky, 2 to 3 grams. That pinky being 2 to 3 grams. For snakes that are between 16 and 23 grams, you want to feed them every 4 to 5 days with 2 pinkies that are at 3 grams. For snakes 24 to 30 grams, you want to feed them every 5 to 6 days, small fuzzies that weigh between 5 and 7 grams. Next up, snakes that are 30 to 50 grams, every 5 to 6 days, you want to feed them regular fuzzies that are 7 to 9 grams. After that, if you have a snake between 51 and 90 grams, you want to feed them every 5 to 6 days. You want to feed them hoppers that weigh between 9 and 12 grams. Next, if you have a snake that's 91 to 170 grams, you want to feed them once every 7 days a big hopper, or weaned as they're called, 14 to 20 grams each of these weigh. One of them every 7 days, that is. Next, you want to, if you have a snake 170 plus grams, you want to feed them every 7 days again, and you want to feed them an adult mouse weighing between 24 and 30 grams. Last but not least, for the corn snakes that are really huge, you want to feed each snake every 7 days a jumbo adult between 40 and 50 grams. And that's for corn snakes that are more than 400 grams. So like I said, a lot of people go by the Munson scale. When I first joined in, what I would do is I just, you know, feed my corn snakes once a week, once every 7 days, feed them a pinky, a hopper, you know, a fuzzy or adult mouse, depending on their size. I had plenty of success feeding my corn snakes that way. No problems at all. So, you know, Munson plan is just another guide to go by if you guys want to. With that being said, I'm going to wrap up this one video. It's going to be part 1. I'm making a part 2 that will come right after this, guys. So don't forget to watch it. Thank you for watching this video, part 1. I'll have the link below for the second part. Don't forget to watch it. Remember, questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. Thank you. So